guys, it's Colette. Yep, we're on. Good to be back, and welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Colette, also known as my channel name, which is Grandmother Winds of the Earth. That's my grandmother's spiritual name, and one I'm very proud of. But it does mean I can be stormy at times. Anyway, I have done a question and answer before I went off on holiday, and it was so well thought of, and also with so many more questions come in, that I'm actually going to just keep it as a running thing every month, sometimes even 2 a month. So every time I put up a question and answer, if you think of something that you would like seen to or answered, obviously it's not mini readings, it's about spirituality, it's about myself, it's about my animals, it's about my animal now. I've only got Benji at the moment because Nelly passed, but you know, my life, my attitudes, but also spirituality, mediumship, the tarot if you want, although the channel seems to have migrated away from the tarot more towards mediumship and how-to tutorials for the clairs and all the things to help you in a self-help way when you are psychic, empathetic, and just like all of us that tune into these channels. So anyway, so I have printed out a lot of the questions and I'm just coming to them fresh because I think that's the best way. I don't want to overthink. I want you just to, I want to read them and go, okay, this is it. That might mean I miss stuff out, but this is a type of video that is relatively easy to do because I feel I'm just chatting to you. So if I'm ever not feeling great or whatever, this might be one that I'll still manage to do. So yeah, so let's go on with it. If you're new to the channel, please know that I have 10 books out, and my memoirs are Memoirs of a Clairvoyant by Colette Brown, and my latest book, which is on the afterlife and dying, is Dying to Live, Death and the Afterlife, and they're available on Amazon. I'm very proud of them both. Right, so let's go on with it. Thanks to everybody that put questions in, and remember, keep them coming. What I'll do is every time I see a question that is, you know, I think I can answer, I'll cut and paste it onto a file, and that way, hopefully people should get answered. If you give me 5 questions, you might just get answered one, particularly if other people have asked the same thing. So let's see. This one is from Fiona. Fiona says, I come from a science background like yourself, working in a healthcare setting. How did you find others' reactions when you told them about your gifts? Did you tell your colleagues? I'm scared to tell my colleagues due to their science and logical thinking. Fiona. Well, right, Fiona, I have a few stories on that. Basically, I've always been this way, so if people got to know me, they normally would hear stories about me sensing spirit, or, you know, me. Sometimes I would just be working and saying, oh, I don't feel so good, I think there's something coming, and then it would happen. So I never put it into people's faces as such, but they kind of became aware, particularly in the pharmacies where I stayed for quite a while. When I was doing locum work, obviously with certain pharmacies every week, they didn't get to know, but the places that I stayed and worked for years, certainly it filtered out to them. And you may not realise that that slightly happened anyway, and there may be other professionals, science professionals, that kind of feel the same way, but they're not telling you either. I often found when I wasn't at work and, you know, we talked to people about what we did, and, you know, if I brought up paranormal or psychic stuff, there would always be a very positive reaction. Some people weren't good, but others would be like, oh my goodness, and how did you know you've got that, and what happened? And I found that many science-based people just because of the knowledge of science and how majestic it is and how amazing science can also be very magical and can also think outside the box and therefore be somewhere open to the paranormal. Now, that's not true for everybody, and it's better maybe not to be known as the freaky weird woman in your own place. But what I'm trying to say is it's especially now, it's easier to open up a conversation a wee bit, see who's all right, see who's interested, and then gauge who's not, who laughs or poo-poos it or little whatever, and just take it gently from there. My experience of it were that most people kind of knew that I could sort of see things or whatever, just because of my background. It's been there forever, and I would often tell wee stories or whatever. But I think what really happened was, I think I'd been sort of doing mini readings for friends and stuff like that, and developing. And in my early 30s, I think it was, I was working in a really nice shop, and one of my dispensers tripped. We were getting a refit, and she tripped and hurt her ankle. And I took her through the back, and we had a wee look at it. And as I was looking at it, I didn't quite realise that there was a flow going through me to heal. And when I realised that was happening, I just said to her, just sit still for a moment. And just with pure instinct, I let the healing flow through me with the intent to help her ankle. And I had my head down, I was focusing on her ankle. And when I looked up, she looked quite freaky, and she was like, what did you do? And I was like, oh, I was just sensing it and seeing if I could, give you a wee healing, like Reiki. And I remember saying, the pain's gone. Oh my God. And then she got up and walked out and told the rest of the staff. And then because it was a small group of pharmacies, we maybe had about 16 in it went like wildfire. And I was actually my area manager, I think, or the sort of area manager was someone who eventually I had to tell I was leaving because of my gift. But that's another quick story. Anyway, so it went round like wildfire, and the woman that I'd done the healing in said, I've heard you speak with spirits or whatever. I have a charity, and I think it was multiple sclerosis. No, it wasn't. I've been associated with MS, but this was cystic fibrosis. And she said, would you come and do a wee charity night in my house? You don't need to do much, just say what you get or whatever, and people maybe give a wee fiver, and it's for the charity. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did that, and the next day people were phoning for me to do house parties for them, and that's the way it got out. And for a few years after that, it was people would sort of sidle up and say, can you tell me what happens with the afterlife? Or I hear you know the tarot. I've got a tarot deck. And so that kind of initial flow of healing leading to a charity night, just from that day onwards, people were just interested. And that's how my second career actually took off. 6 years later or so, I'd already moved on to a new pharmacy group, which I loved working for. They were amazing. But more and more I was enjoying my my tarot and my mediumship. And I'd gone to 3 days a week with pharmacy, and then 2 days or one night with the psychic stuff. And I was booked about 6 months in advance because it was only maybe one a week I could do. And in 1996, after my mum died, my dad had died 2 years beforehand, I thought, you know what, I'm 35. If I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I remember there's a story in the memoirs about how I found my offices in Hamilton and how things went into place. But I had a really good boss at that time called Douglas. I remember going to him, and it was his group of pharmacies, and saying, I'm handing in my notice. And he was like, oh, why are you not happy? And I said, well, actually, I've been really happy working for you, but I'm going self-employed. And he looked at me and he said, where did you find the branch to buy? I mean, and where did you find the pharmacy to buy? It was, even though he knew what I did, he he couldn't put it that I was going self-employed for anything other than pharmacy. And he said, I've been looking out for shops. Where is it? Where is your own shop? And I said, well, it's an office in Hamilton and it's for my clairvoyant work. And it was like, as though, are you mad? And I think I also saw that he was trying to stop having a wee laugh, as though, oh, well, she'll be back in 6 months. So when I said I was going self-employed, he automatically assumed it was as a pharmacist. So, and then it took off from there. So that's my kind of stories on it. There's an awful lot of professional people that I have worked for in my life as a clairvoyant consultant. People that, were maybe high up in law, high up in certain medical profession genres, police, a lot of nurses, footballers, bankers, you name it. An awful lot of people that would be seen to be in professions that are scientific or so based on fact that they couldn't possibly be interested in this. But everybody's human, and everybody to a degree will have something, I think, in their life that piques their interest or scares them about the paranormal and about the afterlife. So Fiona, I think you're in I really do think that you're in good company. So don't blast it, sneak it up on people. Ask a question. If you see something in the news, ask a question, see how people respond to it. But you'll be a bit happier when at least you know that some of the people round about you will happily accept the most important part of the inner you, which is your spirituality. So go easy, but don't panic so much. I think you'll just be fine. Right. Okay. Another one, let's see. Oh, goodness. Pages and pages, dearies. This one, and I think I'm only going to do 2 and stop, and I'll do these, maybe I'll do shorter videos on this, but more of them, if you see what I mean. So keep watching. That's nearly 14 minutes already, and I've answered 1 question. Okay, obviously, if you want to support me in this, my coffee link is down below, and or you could maybe enjoy my books and leave positive reviews if you enjoy them. Right, this is from Donna. I do readings myself, Colette, but when I went for the reading, the psychic couldn't read me. The second lady I went to just talked about my inner knowing. Why is it that they can't actually give me a reading? I help others but can't get a reading. Lol, Donna. Donna, join the club. I think I've only had about, maybe in my whole life, about 5 readings. And it's not that I didn't go. When I was developing, obviously you've got an interest, and also when you're thinking of, could I do this? You want to visit other clairvoyants that are doing well with it. But I used to go in and sit down, and people would look at me and they'd either say, "I'm sorry, but I can't read through your aura. It's very psychic. I take it you do what I do," and I'd be like, and then we talk, and they talk about, how important it was to go forward for myself and be my own person. I've been picked out of crowds in auditoriums because the psychics or whoever was doing the floor show could see this blue light around me. And I've seen that in a few other people as well. So I had that problem all my life. There was one man that earlier on, before I actually fully developed it, when I was just in my 20s, he could read me quite well, but he was an astrologer who backed it up with tarot. So in a way, I don't think he was using total clairvoyance. He certainly added that, but he was an astrologer, so I could get a reading from him. And occasionally, especially if I had people to my forum that I had in Hamilton, if there was a medium on, they would sometimes give me a message, but that wasn't reading me, that was just giving something through in a bigger consultation, but they couldn't seem to do it when we were one-to-one. So then I started doing readings myself, obviously, and every so often, maybe once a month, someone would come in and sit in front of me, and I'd think, oh well, there goes today's money down, because I obviously wouldn't take money off someone if I couldn't read for them. And I knew right away I would have to say, look, what I used to say is, look, I feel as though I'm not going to be able to read you very well, and there's a reason for that, but let me put out some cards to show you. And I'd put out some cards, and I would have the High Priestess out, the Magician. Sometimes I would see things about their life, but it was mainly about spirituality, mediumship, all these things that would show up in the cards. And I'd say, look, these are backing up what I felt, in that your psychic awareness and your gift is so strong that I can't read through all the swirling stuff in your aura that makes you you. Also, if and most people would be disappointed, and right away I say, look, I'm not charging for this, because there was also, I think, the fear that people were going to have their money taken, when really there was no way I would do that. But what I'm trying to say is that in general, when someone's developing and moving forward and trying to get information, if they're very talented, most psychics, even particularly good ones, will not really be able to read that well for them. They might get bits, but I don't know if they'd ever read that well. The other thing is, as clairvoyants and people, even Reiki healers, etc., go on to master their art, they normally learn about barriers and about cocoons of white light and about protection. And some of them forget, when they go in for a reading, that these things are still up, and that, if they, close down after their own work and put up protections, then they know that they're protected and no negative energy is going to come towards them. But then they might go and see a clairvoyant, not realising that all their barriers are up and all their protections are up anyway. So I'm exactly the same. As I say, I've had a couple of clairvoyant readings that have been good. I had a wonderful, believe it or not, probably one of the best readings about career path and everything I ever had was at a car boot sale in Glasgow, and it was quite early on. I did have my gift, but I was a pharmacist at the time, and we were wanting to go to France that summer, but couldn't quite afford it, so we decided to take all the junk to a car boot sale. And there was a woman set up in her car doing tarot readings, and I went in and I said, "Can you give me a reading?" She said, "Yeah." And she looked at me and she said, "I'm not a clairvoyant. I'm a tarot reader. I don't use clairvoyance. I just read the cards." And I thought, most people that read the tarot do have a degree of clairvoyance. And she said, "I don't think I do, but I'm very focused on the meaning of the cards. They're a language to me." And I thought, yeah, I like you. And she sat down, and yes, I mean, I could see the cards coming out. I knew the tarot, but the way she flipped and put the meanings that she was getting from the cards to me turned out to be a fabulous reading. And I've also had good information from mediums that have passed on things from spirit. But that's it. And there's been many times, you know, like through my life that people have said, "Oh, we've got this clairvoyant coming to our house, Colette, do you want to join in?" And I've thought of it in two ways, well, three actually, because I used to write for the local paper and it's syndicated, my face was on it, and sometimes it was in the front of the paper, so I was quite well known in the area and quite well known for being established. And I thought, if I go to someone that's just starting off or they're finding their feet, and I sit down in front of them as almost their someone that they know has been doing it for years, the first thing is that they might panic and be, oh God, as though she's going to judge me, whereas I would only have ever been like, "Going to give me what you can, please." So I would say no for that reason, that I didn't want anybody to feel under pressure. I would also say no because I knew that if they were having a house party of 5 people and I turned up and they couldn't read them, then they wouldn't get paid. So, or I would expect them not to take my money. So they would then money for that night. The third reason I've forgotten now. Yeah, I've forgotten. Maybe it was only 2. But anyway, I wouldn't go for a reading because I knew just through trying so many times that people would not be able to read for me. And you know, if anybody's out there and, you know, is sitting and wants to see what they get, email me. My email is in the description box. Email me, feel free. I'm open to it. I'm giving you permission to do a reading for me if you think you can see through my whatever's going on. That'd be interesting. But don't worry if you can't. You might get little bits about me, but you know, actually I might be able to offer reading like this, but when I've got my London mediumship or other stuff, I've very much got protections up, so we'll see. But Donna, that's my answer, and I've answered 2 questions and already we're quite well on, so I will put this as Q&A 2, and we'll just count them off like we did the psychic ability, because I've got so many questions. Anyway, do you enjoy these type of videos? I enjoy them because it reminds me of things that I knew but maybe had forgotten, or I know that it can help someone on their journey, and I enjoy going back to old memories. So keep your questions coming, because as Jim says a lot, Colette, you can talk. So many blessings. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the question and answer videos. Share the videos if you want to, and yeah, subscribe if you would like to. And many blessings.